doing? Good afternoon. It is great to be here with each and every one of you. Great to be here with all my Marylanders and all my future Marylanders. And it is wonderful to have you all here at National Harbor. And I know it is my goal to make sure that you all have a fantastic experience. It's my goal to make sure that you all fall in love with this state. And it's my goal to make sure y'all don't leave. So welcome to your new home, to everybody who is not yet a Maryland resident. But also, it's great to be here with so many innovators and so many big thinkers and people who don't just understand that we can have a brighter and a better future, but who understand that we got to put in the work to get there. And the work to get it done is happening now. Being able to spend time with so many of you like Ampere, who's helping us to rethink hybrid aircraft. Being here with folks like Invest Wood, who's in the process of creating a technology and creating a wood that's as strong as steel. Being able to be here with folks like my alma mater, the Johns Hopkins University, and the folks in the Applied Physics Lab, who are showing us that destination exploration is not limited by this planet. By being able to understand that the way that we are going to move and the way we are going to grow, it is going to be collective, it's going to be with vision, and it's going to be thoughtful, and the time to do it is going to be now. We're just across the river over in Washington, D.C. We have America's leaders who are debating and discussing about what is going to be the course of our future. We're right across the river. President Biden and Secretary Granholm have been very, very clear that our future will be defined about how we will respond to the climate crisis that is not just here, it is raging. It's why this Congress passed the largest climate action plan legislation in history. It's why the president has been working with top advisors to be able to find creative ways to be able to address it. And it is why here in the state of Maryland, we are pushing to make sure that this is the home of entrepreneurship, that this is the home of innovation, and that this is going to be the home of our solutions. And why we're being unapologetic about it. And also why I'm here to say that's why I need you all. And that's why I need your leadership. Because in order for us to really get this right, the climate crisis is not just about recognizing that we have hotter summers or that we have rising sea levels, but that it is really touching every single aspect of American life. And at a time when the water the people are drinking has been degraded by higher rates of evaporation, at a time when people are breathing air that has been contaminated by harmful emissions and children are suffering from higher rates of asthma because of it, at a time when the homes people are living in aren't built to withstand extreme weather, and frankly, at a time that this place, my birth state, the state where I serve as its chief executive, is also home to some of the hottest heat islands in this entire country. And the communities that I came up in, at a time when Black communities are bearing the brunt of these consequences and others. This is a historic time and a historic moment of our nation and our planet, and our job is to make sure that we do not miss this opportunity to get this right. And here's another thing. We do not have to choose between a greener economy and a growing one. We can and we will do both at the same time. That we're not just dealing with an existential threat, we're also dealing with a groundbreaking opportunity to create new businesses, to create new jobs, and to steady our financial footing by investing in a clean energy future, and that means investing in all of you. That means making sure that your dreams can flourish. That means making sure that your ideas are going to be supported and invested in. That means making sure that your hopes are going to be realized. And my job is to make sure that you have the tools that you need in order to pursue them, in order to build that startup, in order to lead the pack in cutting-edge innovation. And I'm very serious about this, and not just because it's good politics or not because it's good policy. I'm very serious about this because this is personal. Because this was my first time ever running for elected office. The first office I ever ran for was governor. And I actually won. And before that, and I tell you, it's actually very humbling because I remember the first public poll that I saw. I'm a very data-driven person. My quantitative side of my brain works a lot faster and smoother than the qualitative side of my brain. And I remember the first poll that I ran because I wanted to see some numbers about what are my chances, what's the probability here. And I was polling at 1%. And in fact, I'm Not Voting was polling higher than me. But my background was I was an Army officer, and I led soldiers in Afghanistan with the U.S. Army. And my background was that I ran one of the largest poverty-fighting organizations in this country. And my background was that I was an entrepreneur and a small business owner and someone who had an idea and then eventually got some capital to build around it, and it turned into a successful small business. And how, when I went through the process of thinking about that, and I thought about what could we actually do inside this moment, I thought about my entrepreneurial days, where I learned that sometimes entrepreneurialism can be remarkably lonely. Where I thought about sometimes you're talking to people about the idea that you have, and you're watching their eyes glass over because they don't see what you see. But how every single day you push, and every single day you work, and then more and more every single day, more people start seeing what you saw a while ago and start believing in what you believed in a while ago. Finding a problem, developing a solution. During that time is when I learned how hard it is to be an entrepreneur, to move an idea into a product. And now that I'm governor, I just want to make sure that in our state we are making it easier for entrepreneurs to build their businesses, make it easy for you to turn into a job creator, make it easy for you to carry on with your essential work to lead in this green energy revolution. Because in this state and in this place, we reward our risk takers. In this place and in this state, we support our job creators. And in this state, we acknowledge the hard work of those who see a future that for many people, they just can't see it yet. People who understand that failure isn't enough to overcome the joy of success. We know that here and in this time, we are going to be both more competitive as a state and more equitable, and it's not a choice. We are going to do both. That we already have some of the greatest institutions in the world right here in our backyard. 4 of the top HBCUs, historically black colleges, universities in this country, the key to federal institutions like NIST and NIH, U.S. Cyber Command, the University of Maryland system, that many of these institutions are already doing important work in the renewable energy space. That the University of Maryland Energy Innovation Accelerator is already helping to jumpstart small businesses who are focused on solar and wind and batteries and energy efficiency. That the EDAC labs at Johns Hopkins University are already leading the way in new carbon capture technologies. That ion storage systems are already leading the way when it comes to battery storage. And today, I'm meeting with scores of other businesses and entrepreneurs that got their footing thanks to the incredible institutional strength inside of our state. If there was ever a belief that Maryland is a state that is asset-rich, but unfortunately asset-rich and strategy poor, I want to be very clear, those days have come to an end. And we need you here. And as governor, I'm going to make sure that we back up our assets with the strategy that is required to take our state to the next level. It's why one of the first bills that I sponsored was a bill that was focused on creating a grant program within the Maryland Department of Commerce to incentivize businesses, local governments, and nonprofits and universities to build out cutting-edge infrastructure inside of our state. And energy and sustainability is specifically mentioned in that legislation. about areas that we're going to focus on, things we're going to get done. More clean entrepreneurs who are able to access capital. More startups to set up operations. More ideas that can get off the ground. We're not just going to be a part of the renewable future. Maryland will be its headquarters. And we are going to be a place that's going to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 60% by 2031, where I want to make sure that all new car sales are going to be EVs by 2035, and all government vehicles by the end of my second term will be EVs. That we're going to make sure that we're building out the infrastructure and ensure that we have electrification of the grid that's going to be able to support those ambitious goals, that we are going to be aggressive and we are going to be strategic and we are going to lead, and we're going to do it because people are watching. And that's why I'm so thankful for the work that you all are doing, because you understand that too. That when I say people are watching, I mean the people in our communities. That the kid from West Baltimore who has to leave school and walk home in 95-degree weather because the school is not prepared for extreme heat, that kid is watching. That the mother in Annapolis whose house has flooded for the third straight year in a row because of heavy rain, that she's watching. That the unemployed dad on the Eastern Shore who's looking for a job and can't find one because the job reskilling platforms that they have are not preparing him for the jobs of now or for the jobs for the future, that he's watching. That their eyes are on us. We're not going to let them down. I won't let them down. And in partnership, we're going to get it done together. And so I need you to be part of this revolution because it's here. And the only question that we have left is whether or not we're going to seize this moment. But I know that together in partnership, the answer is that we will. So bless you all. Thank you for being here in Maryland. Welcome to your new home. And I look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Thank you all so much.